Well, Pacelli and Boomer, they're grizzled and gray, talking about Star Wars from back in the day. Got a talk show called Geeky, and it's true, spinning old tales about the stuff they went through. From Atari to Shrek, they know every line. Geeky, man, they're feeling just fine. Late Savvy's got a lightsaber, swings it with pride. Boomer's got a game, but plays it deep in the night. They're ranting about He-Man and old X-Men too. On Geeky, they're the nerdiest crew. Talking Transformers toys, they twist and they turn. Singing blues for the geek life, their hearts still burn. Oh, Geeky, they're living the dream. Talking comics and movies, they're busting the scenes. From Battlestar reruns to D&D lore, they're preaching the gospel of geek evermore. Pacelli and Boomer, they'll never grow old. Geeky geezers with hearts made of gold. They're sitting in the studio, mics turned up loud, reminiscing about Super Friends, feeling so proud. Pacelli loves Spider-Man, Boomer's for Hulk. They argue about Star Trek with passionate both. From Betamax tapes to their old D20s, Geeky is where the nostalgia flows. They got fans in the chat, from the young to the old, tuning in to hear stories that never get told. Talking Ghostbusters, proton packs, toys in the box, and Saturday mornings with cartoons that rock. Pacelli and Boomer, they're keeping it real. Geeky is with that old school feel. Oh, Geeky, they're living the dream. Talking comics and movies, they're busting the scenes. From Battlestar reruns to D&D lore, they're preaching the gospel of geek evermore. Pacelli and Boomer, they'll never grow old. Geeky geezers with hearts made of gold. They're singing the blues for the games that they play, for the VHS tapes and the arcades that pray. But the spirits are young, though their hair's turning white. Geeky geezers keep the nerd fire alight, so tune in each week to the Geeky Geezer Show, where Pacelli and Boomer let the good times flow. From X-Files to X-Men, they're dropping the news, singing praises of geek life with them old blues. Pacelli and Boomer, forever they'll be Geeky Geezers living wild and free.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Geeky Geezers. I'm your host, Aged Boomer. This is my co-host, Pacelli.
How do?
And this is my other co-host, Netter of Netters Network, otherwise known as the Geezette.
Good evening.
And here we are. I have a Coke.
Yes, we
sorry.
are. No, that's fine. I got a Diet Dr. Pepper myself.
How many flavors are in Dr. Pepper?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, I know there's Dr. Pepper. Diet Dr. Pepper.
No. He means like in the formulation for Dr. Pepper, they used to say however many
like
flavors.
52 flavors or something like that.
I don't remember. But I'll tell you, there are YouTube channels trying to figure out the recipe for Coke, for Dr. Pepper, for all different kinds of things. So, just saying.
Chat is now open to everyone. Welcome. Oh, Big Al.
Welcome, Big Al.
Hello, my geek friends. Hope you all have a great show tonight. Wishing everyone a great week ahead. I hope we have a great week ahead. Deleted Scenes, welcome. Connie Cleary, welcome. JPRPH1, welcome. Jessica Hardo, welcome. Tired Midnight Blogger. There's an Aged Boomer in there. Okay. Let's see here. Let's keep going down. Lynn Green.
Yeah.
Lynn Green, welcome. Max Headroom. We're not doing Max Headroom for good old days tonight, nor will we ever. I'm kidding. We may get to it. I think that was another one of my TV sets that got messed up in the flood. I don't remember. It's chaotic now, but yeah, I used to have the show on DVD. I think Shout Factory put it out. I had that. I had Parker Lewis Can't Lose. Remember Parker Lewis Can't Lose?
Oh yeah.
Which was which aired around the same time as the Ferris Bueller TV series, and it ended up getting renewed, whereas Ferris Bueller got canceled after one season, even though they were very similar plot wise. You know. Yeah. But let's see. Zootopia, welcome. I may have to do Parker Lewis for good old days at some point. Let's see. We have a very special good old days tonight, though.
Yes, we do. I'm very excited about it.
Okay.
Do you want me to bring up the presentation? Are you done saying hi to everybody?
I guess, because I don't see anybody else here. I see Netter. Welcome,
Did you
Netter.
say hello to Mr. House Party 6?
Where are all you people? Say hi.
Thought I did, but welcome. Oh, Tired Midnight Bugger. I didn't see him here. Oh, there he is, Mr. Horace Player 6. Welcome. Okay.
There you go.
Oh,
there you
he
go.
is. Okay. There. All right. So let's bring up the presentation. There we are. And we're going to talk about
The Never-Ending Story. I gotta say, I have some great memories about this. I've talked very often about shows that were in constant play on cable in the early days of cable TV.
This was one of them.
This was definitely one of them. It was a great one because my brother enjoyed it so much. My brother, I've talked about many times, severely mentally handicapped, never grew up, right? So he always was watching the kids shows, the Muppets, things like that. And this one was very much a favorite of his. He became fixated on the scene with the inventor chap, to the winch, wench. My brother used to repeat that over and over again. He used to laugh so hard about it, completely out of context. Didn't make a lot of sense. Didn't matter. He loved it.
The winch wench.
To the winch wench. He's talking to presumably his wife, because they're going to. They use a winch in order to get to where his telescope is or whatever. It's part of the story. But anyway, fantasy, huh?
Children, yeah, I don't know if I have a picture of him in here though, but we'll see.
No, that's fine. Well, you're showing the poster right now. He's the white bearded dude, like closest to the right there.
Yes. And there we have Falcor, I believe is his name, right?
Yes, Falcor was the dragon.
The part dog, part Chinese dragon, right? That's what that reminded me of.
I suppose, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But what about Atreyu Do? Yes, we're going to get to... Oh, look at this. Al singing the song. That song gets stuck in your head.
So I'm glad he brought it up, because The Never-Ending Story's title song from the English version of the 1984 film The Never-Ending Story. It was produced and composed by Italian musician Giorgio Moroder and performed by English pop singer Lamal. He released versions of the song, one in English and one in French. The English version features vocals by Beth Anderson, and the French version, titled, I'm going to give this a try here, La Histoire sans fin, something like that, featured vocals by Anne Calver. It was a success in many countries, reaching number 1 in Norway, Spain, and Sweden, number 4 in the United Kingdom, and number 6 on the U.S. Billboard Adult Contemporary charts.
Look at that.
In the first episode of the third seasons of Stranger Things, set in 1985, Never-Ending Story is sung by the character Dustin and his long-distance girlfriend Susie as a way to reconnect after not seeing each other for some time. Following the season's release on July 4th, 2019, interest in the Never-Ending Story surged again. Viewership of the original music video had increased by 800%.
Wow.
Days, according to YouTube, while Spotify reported 825% increase in stream requests for the song. Lamal expressed gratitude towards Netflix for this. While he had not watched the series, he was told of the song's inclusion by his nephew and watched clips of the duet. Lamal had previously found a similar increase in his past work when the network used his band Kajagoogoo's song Too Shy in Black Mirror Bandersnatch. In June of 2024, ITV used an arrangement of the song in their opening for coverage of UEFA European Football Championships. In 2022, the Spanish stage production La Historia Interminable El Musical welcomed Lamal to the stage to perform his song with the cast, including Teresa Farrar as Zaid, and Teresa Abarca, and Alba Quartero, who alternated as the childlike empress. So there you go.
You can speak Klingon, no problem. With this, you stumble over.
Well, good point. I mean, fair enough, right? But what? Oh, yep.
I remember seeing this as a kid, though. I did want to say something, and I felt. How old was I? 8 or 9 or something when I was catching this together. What feels off about this movie? I couldn't quite put my finger on it, and then of course I find out later on. I think because it's a very, even though American cast, I think very European movie.
Yes,
yes, in its scope. I think it was made in Germany, actually, right? Yeah, it was a German production.
Yep. And real quick, I want to thank Ruby Who for the gifted membership over on Netter's channel. Let me see if I can see who that went to. Ruby, you are just absolutely wonderful. Super, super appreciate you. That went to Nicholas Woodall 3840. So welcome to Netter's network, Nicholas. And thank you again, Ruby Hoove. And the Tired Midnight Blogger also comes through for Netter, gifting a membership to Sporking News. Welcome, I think, back to membership, Sporking. So thank you for that, Tired Midnight Blogger, for helping the Netter's network grow. And Mr. House Party jumping in as well, dropping in a membership over on Netter's channel. That one goes to Mr. Scuba Pete 8044, who I know happens to right now be over in Analog Toys live stream right now, so he'll see that.
Goodness, thank you all so very much. I don't know what I did to be so popular tonight, but thank you.
And it's a little funny from my perspective, because literally the first one came in when she stood up from her computer to go take care of something, and she's just now getting back. She's like, holy cow, what the hell happened in just 3 minutes?
Very fun.
Oh, my goodness, thank you.
But thank you all so very, very much. But going back to this, it really was, and you could do an interesting deep dive on the music from this, on the production behind this, various editions or edits of this movie.
Really?
We could actually spend a lot of time on this. Big Al and I talked about this a lot when Big Al, correct me if I'm wrong, but you had done a rewatch of it on your channel.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, he had done Never Ending
We
Story.
talked about a lot of these things. He was so much a fan of Falcor that we made sure that last year when we were at MegaCon, there was a booth that had a mock-up of Falcor.
No, that's not where I got it. I got it someplace else. And I saw...
No, the pictures that we took at MegaCon.
That.
Okay, you're getting ahead of me. Where they had a mock-up of Falcor that the kids could have their picture taken on. And we weren't supposed to take pictures, but we took pictures, They also had some of the other scenes from the movie. Don't want to get too into that because we'll get into that as we talk a little bit more about the story and so forth. But very, very cool stuff. But then, yes, Netter found a Falcor style little like toy, 3D printed, right?
Yes, 3D printed.
That she sent to Big
And
Al.
it was one of those ones where you may have seen the dragons where the different body parts move, like each little section moves. The Falcor was like that.
What's really interesting about those is if you ever watch how 3D printing is done, or actually watch 3D printing, it literally prints all these different segments all at the same time, interconnected in 3 dimensions. It's really, really cool.
That does sound neat, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Never Ending Story only touches about half of the book of the same name. I need to read the book one of these days. That should be on my bucket list.
And that's what's really cool about this story. It very much is a okay. Thanks, Netter. I just saw your private chat. there's a very meta element to the storytelling on this. So yes, it is an adaptation of a book, but at the same time, it's self-aware of itself as a movie. And there's a scene in which the boy is reading the book,
Sebastian,
and having
yes.
who is having a conversation with the childlike empress character in the book somehow. And she has this, you are, reading about me just as others are watching you. So she's acknowledging the audience of the movie as the child is reading the book, talking to her. It is an incredible, mind-blowing kind of a thing if you're really paying attention in that regard.
He's the audience of the events happening in the Neverending Story, and then we're the audience watching him.
Yes,
with the
exactly
book.
right.
It goes beyond breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah, it's like breaking the fourth wall of the fourth wall. It's like that. It's really kind of interesting.
So there we go. There's him.
I don't know if you call that a fifth wall break, and that's him exactly having that kind of a realization that there's more going on here than he even realizes. Yeah,
he was hiding out somewhere reading this book, as I recall. Was it a warehouse or something? Like he was mad at his dad, or something?
In the attic of his school.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Because he just wanted to.
Was it his school? No. It was. I guess it was because he took the book from the bookseller.
Remember the bookseller was like, "Yeah, you don't look like we don't have any." Did he say something like, "We don't have any comic books here"? Or something? It was something like that.
Exactly.
He's like, "I've read all and he starts listing off all the books he's read.
Right.
Well, you still don't want to read this book, so no, you can't read this book. So of course, what's going to happen when you?
And it's very, very clever because you can see, in a way, it's almost the same kind of a thought process as in The Princess Bride, where the older man's like, you're not interested in this. Oh, well, now I want to see it because you say I can't, because I won't, or I want to prove you wrong, kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's the reverse psychology of, you don't want this broccoli. It tastes too good. No. Yeah. You're just not going to want it. It's green.
Yeah.
No, I want some.
Yeah, I want to try it. Okay, it's not so bad. That's how the reverse psychology. But yeah, he gets real into the story and then realizes that he is becoming an existential hero within the whole narrative of keeping alive imagination, basically. Which, let's face it, every person who reads a book, that reads fantasy, that imagines, right, is keeping alive our collective narratives. Another story that I could say really kind of gets into this a good deal. Mr. House Party, $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Do your magic, for it is good. Go on. Yes, exactly right. See, people loving this story really has had a great cultural impact. I don't want to bury the lead. We'll get to this later in the stream. We are going to be talking about more than one reference to this in some articles today. Usually there's a connection to our good old days, to something that's in the news, but there's more than one today for this one.
Well, it's funny because I originally picked this because we talked about it on, was it Friday? We talked about this. Yeah. I don't remember. Yep. Yes, and I thought we never done this for good old days. I think it's time. Geeky, but
there's a thematic connection to a film that's got a trailer out this week. Okay. And welcome to me and my monkey, Mark Ruffalo. Thank you so much for being here, my friends. Yes, Geezers unite. And Maria with Tea and Telly. Thank you so much for stopping in and dropping the kisses and the hugs. You are so sweet.
So here's the rock biter. I remember it starts out with him, and he's always eating rocks, and he says he went by to some valley or something where there were a bunch of rocks, and it wasn't there anymore. And he says, because you ate them all. No, that's not what happened. He's trying to explain to them that something is making everything disappear, right?
That is, talk about existential dread, right?
Yeah.
No, it's not that it was empty, that I'd eaten all the rocks. It was gone.
Yes.
Everything was
just wasn't there anymore. I remember that line. Yeah. And here's some other people he runs into. Like there's the dude with the snail that could go. The snail could go really fast.
Deep Roy, who seems to be in everything. We talked about him. He was in an episode of Blake 7 that we watched. He, of course, was all the Oompa Loompas in the remake of Charlie and the Chocolate
That was
Factory.
him. Yes, I
yes,
thought
it
that
is.
Was him.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Houseperson said the nothingness.
The nothingness. Exactly.
I thought it was the nothing, but I could be wrong. It's been a few years.
I could be. I
Big
suppose
Al is the expert on this movie. Big Al, weigh in.
Not to mention, there is of course some translation going on here too. So let's be open to that as well. the dude using a bat as a hang glider. Yeah, I thought that was cool too.
You know what? It could work if they were large enough, right?
or if you are tiny enough. I think it was implied he was some sort of a pixie or something like that.
Right.
Big Al shows is called The Nothing.
The Nothing. There you
See,
go. Okay.
He's the subject matter expert on this movie.
He really kind of is. That's right.
All right. So then we have, and they're all these, and they have a conference where they're all talking about this nothing.
Is, of course, the Kanuni and Singh prequel.
That's a Atreyu. Yeah, he does look like a
doesn't
child
he with
Ricardo
that
Montalban. Yes, it's
because it was of course a belt buckle from the Botany Bay, but still,
Well, that's funny. I didn't even think about that, but you're right. And he was Atreyu.
Yes.
And he goes to hunt the purple buffalo, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's his big thing. And I guess he's the protagonist.
You're supposed to believe he was some sort of fantasy barbarian / Native American kind of analog,
right? Yeah, like
culture.
He rides a horse on the plains, and things like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he's going on a journey, I guess, to find out what's causing the thing that's destroying the world, basically.
Yeah, exactly. It's
there's a way to reverse it.
And this is one of those things where, the hero is so brave, right? Well, actually, I mean, I don't know how brave it is. It's like, if someone doesn't do something, we're all going to die, got to save the world because it's where I keep all my stuff, right?
Yes. Oh, Tiantelli says, love this movie, doesn't like the horse. Yeah, we'll get there.
We're going to get to that. Yeah. We talked about it a little bit on Friday. We'll talk more about it.
This freaked me out. This was some kind of wolf creature. What was it called again? I don't remember, but I remember it being very scary.
Yes.
Was it in league with the Nothing, or was it or was it not caring?
Kind of in the respect that all evil seems to be in league with chaos.
Yes.
And it's kind of again, you can't separate. Well, I mean, you can look at this whole movie from a very childish point of view, but you can also look at it at a very philosophical high level. And you almost have to look at it through an existential lens. Mm-hmm. And
it's existential dread is what this
exactly.
Thing is.
And this creature is literally saying, everything in the universe tends towards disorder. Gamork. That's what it was called. Thank you.
Terrifying.
And he represents that aspect of fear. The fear of the unknown, the fear of chaos. Everything dies. Everything, how was it that the Sopranos said everything goes to?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Tony.
And there's nothing you can do. You might as well give up. That's the whole aspect that he brings to it. So it's not so much that he's in league, but he's kind of spiritually connected to it in a way,
Yeah. And I know they have a nasty fight, don't they? Because I still have to attack you because you're I guess because I'm evil and you're good or something. There was this.
It's my nature. It draws to mind that whole scorpion and the frog thing.
Because what's the point of him even attacking a Atreyu at this point? Everything's going to get wiped out. What's the point? But no, I still.
But I have to because it's my nature. It's what I do. When I rewatched the movie, I skipped the horse scene. Again, give us a second on that one. We will talk about that.
I think I have a pic of that in here. Yeah, let's move on to. In fact, that's the
next
scene.
There you go.
There it is. There we go.
There you go. So one of the trials is the Swamp of Sadness, right? And it literally is a physical manifestation of depression, right? And how can I say this and still be YouTube friendly? Surviving depression, right?
Yes.
That's something that many people have to deal with. And how mired you can, and how you can slip into depression unto the point of death.
If you get too mired in it, yes.
Exactly. Okay. And that's literally what they're going through. Well, he's trying to stave off and survive the depression, only to realize that his horse can't. His faithful horse that has seen him through everything is succumbing to depression and is sinking into the physical manifestation, which is the tar, the bog, whatever.
Yeah. And
this is incredibly sad. This is probably one of the most emotionally devastating elements. And I appreciate that, there have been people that have been, this is supposed to be a film for kids. Yeah, it is. Let the children be exposed to this. This is why fantasy and fairy tales exist, because it deals with things like death and depression and overcoming. And these are very important things if you spare children these things, you're doing them a great disservice.
Yes.
But because there isn't a place we're talking about it tonight, but on Friday we did talk about the fact that now using AI, people have recreated this scene where Atreyu is able to talk his horse out of his depression, get it to survive, and in a very realistic way. And I said, you know what? I could totally see this AI generated scene being edited into somebody's fan edit of this movie. You totally could do that. And it would be absolutely believable,
All right. Oh, yikes. Apparently, Colonel Joshua 87 said that the horse actually speaks about what he is emotionally going through during this death scene. Yikes.
That's got to be even worse. But that probably doesn't work.
It wouldn't translate the film, I don't think. Yeah.
I think that a lot of people, especially filmmakers, I would say this filmmaker really did understand it, but most modern filmmakers who just want to do their own version of things, blah, 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 don't really understand that there are things you can convey in prose that you cannot convey in film. And let's be honest, there are things you can do in animation that you cannot do in film. And I think that is where the biggest disservice to these so-called live action remakes of animations go wrong. Someone pointed out that whole Snow White debacle with its many, many problems. One of them was that whole scene, the reveal of the dwarves, the nose popping up over the foot of the bed. That's something you can only do in animation and have it be adorable and cute. If you tried to reproduce that with those CG nightmares that they made, it's just horrifying. Anyway, I'm just... some things work in live action and some things don't, so that's what I'm getting at.
So anyways, and then I know there's this whole thing with then he runs in the Falcor,
right?
I guess that's to lighten the mood a little bit after such a horrible scene.
Well, and I again haven't read the book, so I don't know how it works narratively, but in the narrative of the film, he's lost his steed, he needs a new steed. And you need something that can fly, because he now needs to cover large distances very quickly. So from a narrative standpoint, it kind of fits.
Is he scratching behind his ear, as I recall?
Yeah.
Because dogs like that, yes.
Yes.
I guess it's because the spot they can't really reach, right? So they like when humans do that.
I suppose, but without getting too into the weeds on it, I think most animals, most, not all, but most animals do have an affinity for having their head scratch the sides, the back near the neck, and so
not that wolf thing we saw earlier. You don't want to do that. You'll get your hand bitten off. But yeah.
Well, that's true. But usually dogs and wolves, if you have the connection to them that they would allow you to touch them, they would enjoy that too.
Yes. But
I don't recommend doing that with wolves, though. You do not have that connection to them. The connection you have to them is you are food to them.
And then Atreyu has to go to the something path with the Griffin ladies or whatever that is, right?
Those are sphinxes, but yes,
Sphinx,
exactly.
the Sphinx, yes, okay.
And I think this is an oblique reference to certain Greek myths, the Odyssey and so forth. I want to say oh gosh, what was it? The Straits of, I don't remember what, in Greek mythology, but and yes, there are boobs. Thank you for pointing that out.
I debated showing this picture, but I said it's a statue. I'm not going to lose sleep over this. Okay.
Right.
And I think there's a thing where Atreyu has to give something a name, right? Isn't that the big crux of this whole thing?
He has to give a name to the childlike empress.
Yes. Because it's the only place left in the world is this fortress in the sky or something, right? And he can't think of a name, right?
Right. But well, at first he doubts himself. He can't come up with a name, so on and so forth. But then eventually he does. And
I thought Sebastian yells it out. Isn't it Sebastian?
Oh, Atreyu. It's not his place. It is Sebastian's job to do.
And whose name does he give? Do they say? Was it the name of his deceased mother?
He gives the name Moonchild. Now, okay. I never really understood where that came from or why he says that. I felt like you would think that a child struggling in the real world with the death of his mother would choose his mother's name or something connected to that.
See, now, I always thought Moonchild, I figured his mother was a child of the 60s, and Moonchild was her name in the 60s. That's where I thought he got it from.
That's perfectly plausible. I'll be honest, I thought pretty much the same thing. But I don't see anything that specifically references that in the film. So, book readers, if you've read this story and please fill us in. But yeah, I don't really know.
But yeah, it's funny. I was watching the old Siskel and Ebert episode where they were talking about this movie.
Oh yeah.
Gene Siskel gave it thumbs down. Roger Ebert gave it thumbs up, and they had an argument about it. And I think what Gene Siskel said, well, it's like that other movie I didn't like, The Dark Crystal. This is better than that, but still, I thought he hated The Dark Crystal, Gene Siskel. And then what's funny is they go to their next movie, which is The Last Starfighter. And Ebert gave that thumbs down, but Gene Siskel gave that one thumbs up. So
yeah,
I just don't get all these classics that they were split on.
I do feel like, and let's face it, those guys were local here. So Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert definitely followed those guys. Oh. And I really always felt that they had a very surface level understanding of films. They looked at them like A, adults, and B, journalists. And I think that what has always been missing, well, until very recently, is an understanding of film in terms of culture, who the audience is, and things like that. And I think more of the people that I follow that review films, and I'm thinking like Deleted Scenes, Big Al Presents, Sin's Corner, and many of them. Wilkie's Movies and Music even kind of do understand those factors and do consider those aspects as they do. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting you say that because Roger Ebert has gone on record saying, if it's for kids, like he even if, like, I remember with the movie Good Burger, he didn't quite recommend it, but he said, well, for the audience, for the Nickelodeon audience, for the kids that like the show, you'll like this movie. So that's what he said in his review. And
I think that's fair.
And then Siskel started arguing with him about that. And says, what do you care what the audience wants? And so why don't you care what you like? And then it's because this whole thing. And he said, but Roger, he said, Gene, it's for the kids. And he says, really? I thought it was for their college professor parents. Such an ass sometimes. It's like,
yeah.
I'm sorry. It's a funny. You want to hear them get into a nasty row? It's over Good Burger, the movie. But I think this was another one too, where I don't know if Ebert thought also for kids. Maybe I don't know if he mentioned that when he was talking about it. But yeah. But Never Ending Story. Caught it a lot on cable. Found this movie frustrating because it's like what do you do with the nothing, right?
Yeah.
It consumes. But then everything works out in the end because the childlike empress gets a name, and then I guess the world gets restored.
Well, if you think about it,
right? Yeah.
If you think about it, for crying out loud, this again, getting back to the whole fourth wall break of the fourth wall, this movie really does exactly what it lays out. It introduces a whole other generation to story, fantasy, dreams, shared collective storytelling zeitgeist, and all those things that I said about the cultural impact this movie ended up having. Yes, it was because of cable, and it became a little bit of a cult favorite, and that impact that it ended up having then on nostalgia pieces like Stranger Things and so forth. So amen to that,
And there's also taught me that adults will sometimes drink raw eggs, which I thought was disgusting as a child.
Yeah.
Doesn't he stick it in a blender or something? And I'm like, wait, what? And then I kept thinking, and I think at the time I thought, was that a European thing? And no, that's just a yuppie thing back in the 80s.
Well, no, it was. Well, look at Rocky eating the raw eggs too.
I hadn't seen Rocky at that point as a kid.
Fair enough, but yeah, it was. Well, even before Rocky, I knew it from my.
I was aware of Rocky, obviously, but
right. But yeah, and now since I've been getting more and more into making my own foods and so on and so forth, I've been looking at how eggs are used in different recipes, and I'm like, prepare eggs how you want them. They are a great source of protein, but different uses of eggs for different means. And there's. Let's face it, I've used frosted up egg whites, in many drinks and desserts and other recipes. So I'm not going to poo-poo that if you're doing that for breakfast. But
I had eggs at Bob Evans today.
Good.
I did not do the sausage, the biscuits and gravy. I did the blueberry pancakes with bananas on top instead.
I am not going to say I'm coming around to the sausage gravy yet. I have been eating more breakfast sausage. I've been taking those patties and flattening them, wide, to make these almost burger-like patties with them.
Yeah,
much
they can
thinner.
work like that. Yeah.
And I've been doing them on bagels with a bit of cheese. Oh my! That is just like my favorite breakfast sandwich right now. I've done it with egg, but I'm like, I think the egg kind of gets in the way. There's plenty of protein in sausage. I don't need to double up on the protein with eggs. So sometimes I'll go with an egg sandwich. Sometimes I'll go with a sausage sandwich. They don't have to be in the same sandwich. Anyway, I think we got way off topic on this one.
Boyhood crush, don't judge me. It's fine. If you were the same age, it's normal.
There was something about that childlike empress as when you're a little boy, because she has that whoever aura. The actress was did a great job of portraying this older spirit, childlike body. So from a child's point of view, I could see that as being very, very attractive. Yeah.
So that was the
cutie,
wasn't she? Yeah.
That was the Never-Ending Story, and here we are, back to the present day. How would they deconstruct the Never-Ending Story? then nothing would be right about destroying the world. I don't know. Okay.
Well, with a modern neo-Marxist, you're probably right. Yeah.
Robert Duvall passed away, star of The Godfather, and the great Santini dies at 95. He was also star of,
Huh? Go
he was
ahead.
also star of The Apostle. People always forget that.
Yes, movie. I love The Apostle. That is a great movie. It really is.
Underrated.
I'm not even a Baptist, but I appreciated the role that he played in that movie. It really, really was a good movie.
Did he get a nomination for that and didn't win? I think he was.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But you know what? I've completely lost respect for a lot of these award. Secondhand Lions, said Mr. House Party.
Yeah.
That's another great another good movie. Oh, I love that movie. Haley Joel Osment was in that, wasn't he?
He was. He was the child actor at the time in that.
Yeah. Great actor. And we'd been talking about this on our various streams throughout the week. This is another one of those actors who, if it wasn't for the fact that he was so well established in leading roles, he could have also been seen as one of those great character actors. And in a way, he still was. He played a lot of supporting roles despite being such a big leading name.
Because he wasn't full of himself like some of these other ones.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. I got the impression of him. I didn't know the man personally, but I did definitely get the impression that he was a very down-to-earth kind of person.
Yeah. Robert Duvall won the best Oscar for Tender Mercies. I remember Tender Mercies. He's been in a lot of movies.
He has. Look at his IMDb. It is a long.
He's one of the legendary actors. Let's be honest here. Yep. He's up there with the best. Yesterday, Duvall's statement from his wife yesterday was we said goodbye to my beloved husband, cherished friend, and one of the greatest actors of our time. She wrote, Bob passed away peacefully at home, surrounded by love and comfort. To the world, he was an Academy Award-winning actor, a director, a storyteller. To me, he was simply everything. Oh, that's a good final statement. But yeah, Duvall's gruff naturalism came to define the acting style of a generation that included Robert De Niro, Dustin Hoffman, and Gene Hackman in such films as Network and The Apostle, which he also directed. Yeah, I think he's up there with those performances.
Absolutely.
Hoffman disappeared. We'll talk about him some other time. But and while he may never have been as big a star as De Niro, his unshowy he's pretty big. I mean,
yeah.
You mentioned Duvall. People knew who he was. Okay.
I love welcome, by the way, Lynn Green. She mentions Deep Impact and how his monologue is just so emotional. Yes.
I want to say goodbye to my wife. I remember that.
Yeah.
He was in, of course, The Godfather. Remember?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Favorite Robert Duvall movies is Gods and Generals. That's absolutely true. Yes.
Open Range and Secondhand Lines. I love Open Range. That's a great Western with Kevin Costner. I believe Deleted Scenes was watching it earlier.
Yeah, Deleted Scenes was just watching it.
Yeah. That's a great modern. That was a great. I don't want to say newer Western because it's not new at this point. But I went to see that in the theaters, and Duvall was kind of Costner's. I don't want to say his sidekick, maybe partner in that movie. And they were, were they cattlemen in that movie? I believe, and then there was a nasty guy running the cattle. It was some villain. I remember. That was a classic Western, I thought. But it's just I need to watch Coppola's The Conversation because everybody talks about that movie and I've not seen it. Okay, so
I haven't seen it either, but it's definitely on.
Great Santini, that's another one I need to see. Rambling Rose, I remember Rambling Rose with the David Lynch actress that's used all the time.
I mean, that doesn't narrow it down much.
When I played Diane in the revival. Oh, Laura Dern. Yeah,
Laura Dern.
Rose, yeah. Mm-hmm. And that was an interesting movie. I'll say that she was a nice young woman with an uncontrollable libido. There's a scene in that movie where she comes on to, I guess Robert Duvall lets her be the maid for the family. And there's a scene where she comes on to him and this was a real good husband because he basically said no. And he says, because you could tell he was tempted for a second and then he said no. Yeah. And then, Robert Duvall's daughter, and we say, "Oh, he's loyal. He's loyal to mom." I guess she liked her dad a lot after that. But
Yeah.
Deep Impact, Days of Thunder. I need to watch Days of Thunder because I heard they're doing a follow up, so I'm curious. Oh no, no Robert Duvall in that. I guess the follow up.
Mm-hmm.
Just I don't know. He was in Gone in 60 Seconds, the Nicolas Cage actioner, The Sixth Day. Oh, the sci-fi. He was in The Sixth Day? I don't remember that. He was in John Q, and he was also in Falling Down. In fact, some people argued he was playing the same character in both movies. The cop
interesting.
because they say, I don't know if he was, but they said the role he has in John Q was like the role he had in Falling Down. Like, is this the cop trying to talk the man pushed too far down? And for different reasons in both movies. But let's see here, though. But I mean, I could go on about Robert Duvall all night, but one of the great actors.
But we have a lot, unfortunately, to get to tonight.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to spend as much time on these others, but rest in peace, Robert Duvall. And watch his movies; he'll always be a legend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesse Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
We don't talk politics much on this channel, but this man absolutely did have a great deal of cultural impact.
He did.
He was people don't realize this if they don't really pay attention to his history, but he had a great deal of impact during the early days of the 60s
civil rights movement.
And very positive impact, I would say. I would argue that later in his career, he was trying to relive some of the same victories of the past that he'd already won. He should have spent more time acknowledging the victory laps that he should have been taking.
Plus, he was a reverend, right? He should have just tended to his flock after that, I think. But I don't know.
Well, and I would have, I understand why he didn't, but I would have appreciated hearing him reference that more in his public speaking. But I understand why he didn't. He probably felt it would have turned people off, some people to the message he was trying to get out. But anyway, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead. You should.
No, it's fine. No, I'll just read a bit. The Reverend Jesse Jackson, a longtime preeminent civil rights leader in the United States with deep roots in the Democratic Party, died Tuesday. His family said he was 84. Jackson was hospitalized in November after being diagnosed with progressive supranuclear palsy, a life-threatening neurological disorder similar to Parkinson's disease. Might see why we haven't seen him for a bit. It is with profound sadness that we announce the passing of civil rights leader and founder of the Rainbow Push Coalition, the Honorable Reverend Jesse Louis Jackson Sr. His family said in a statement he died peacefully Tuesday morning, surrounded by family. There were actually a lot of people. Goes into his history a bit in this article. Born in Greensville, South Carolina, 1941, was ordained a Baptist minister. He later became known as a protege of Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. Jackson emerged as a leading voice in the U.S. civil rights movement in the 1960s, 70s, fighting for causes ranging from economic and social justice to gender equality. Jackson founded Operation Push in 1971, a civil rights organization based on Chicago's South Side. Oh, okay. So you probably knew a lot from him and from your area.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And sometimes I wasn't always in agreement with his methods, but I certainly did understand his motivations.
Yes, so a lot of tributes pouring in, tributes and remembrances clearly from some of the people Jackson inspired. Reverend Al Sharpton. Barack Obama made a point too. For more than 6 years, Reverend Jackson helped lead some of the most significant movements for change in human history. Let's see, and we even got some from let me see, the Clintons, Chuck Schumer, also some Republicans came out. Senator Lindsey Graham, even President Trump. I knew him well long before becoming president.
I thought you were going to mention Republicans. Never mind.
Okay, well, you know something. Anyway, he was a good man with a lot of personality, grit, and street smarts. He was very gregarious, someone who truly loved people. That was President Trump's answer on that. Like I said, and then, of course, Lindsey Graham. Anyway, but yeah, there he goes.
I would encourage people that weren't big fans of his, maybe go back and really look at what his real history was, and his actual role in the civil rights movement, you might have a different perspective.
Moving on to Grey's Anatomy star Eric Dane dies at 53 after battle with ALS. Wow.
Yeah.
Yikes.
A very, very similar disease to what you were just talking about.
Yeah, best known as a starring role in long-running ABC medical drama Grey's Anatomy, has died at 53. A representative for Dane shared in a statement with Good Morning America. Digital on Friday said that he had died following his battle with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or ALS. He spent the final days surrounded by dear friends, his devoted wife, and his two beautiful daughters, Billy and Georgia, who were at the center of his world. The statement continued throughout his journey. With ALS, Eric became a passionate advocate for awareness and research, determined to make a difference for others facing the same fight. The statement added he will be deeply missed and lovingly remembered always. Was he the McSteamy character on
Oh yeah, he might have been.
Yeah.
No,
McSteamy
that was
because it was
Patrick
good
Dempsey.
That was
No, I think
McDreamy.
Dempsey was
Oh.
Two
McDreamy.
different people. Yeah.
McDreamy.
Mhm.
I think they had two different names or something. I could be wrong here. I
no
think
idea. I never watched the show.
Well, I think they had a nickname for Dempsey on there as well. I used to get the two confused, but yeah, because I think the names are similar. In 2025 interview with Diane Sauter, Dane recalled one of his most memorable McSteamy scenes early on the run of the show, in which he emerged from a steam-filled bathroom, barely clad in a towel. That moment was one of Grey's Anatomy's most talked about, cemented Dane's status as a primetime TV heartthrob, yet he had no idea then of the lasting impact it would have. In that moment, I was just another scene to me, he said. I just remember walking out of the bathroom where a very nice gentleman was kind of blowing smoke towards me. Okay. But he was on a lot of stuff. He was on the TNT action drama The Last Ship. He was on he was cast in the HBO drama Euphoria as Cal Jacobs, the closeted father of actor Caleb Elordi's character Nate. Okay. So yeah, he's been in a lot of TV, but he is no longer with us. So yeah, ALS is the worst.
Way too young. Yeah.
Yeah, Eric Dane was McSteamy.
Yeah, exactly.
Patrick Dempsey was McDreamy.
Yes.
Yes. All right, and we're moving on to Tom Noonan, known for villainous roles in Manhunter and Heat, dies at age 74.
Mm-hmm.
I need to watch Heat. Is that any good? That's the big one where De Niro and Pacino were both in it, right? So that's what they made a big deal out of.
I think so.
I know they were technically both in Godfather 2, but not really, because one was in flashback.
Well, yes, exactly right. They're not in any scenes together, right? Big
fan of Tom Noonan, actually. Sad he's passed away. He was the villain Kane in RoboCop 2. Remember that?
Yep.
Tom Noonan, a character actor beloved for his eccentric array of oddballs and villains, has died at age 74. The actor reportedly passed away on Valentine's Day, according to director Fred Decker, who helmed 1987's The Monster Squad, where Noonan tenderly played Frankenstein's monster. No cause of death was made public. Tom Zindel performance of Frankenstein in The Monster Squad is a highlight of my modest filmography, doubtless aided by the masterful makeup designed by Stan Winston, sculpted by Tom Woodruff Jr., and applied by Zoltan Alek. Decker wrote on Facebook, having been knocked out by his performance as Francis Dullard and Michael Mann's Manhunter, I desperately wanted Tom to read the script and consider the part, but I knew that nabbing him was probably a long shot. Nonetheless, he agreed to meet me at Hollywood's apartment and discuss the role. He continued, I knew the first thing a serious actor would want to know was that my vision for Frankenstein was serious and not campy. Luckily, this was the case. He isn't a monster, I argued, but rather a pitiable character born from perverted science and cadavers, a sad, freakish orphan whose only goal is to live a normal life. As I pitched my take to Tom, I sensed I might be making headway, but I also knew I had to have a whammo finale. The monster is like a newborn child, I said, but with a repurposed brain, hence he's mentally challenged and at the same time physically huge, making him a sad, walking anomaly. Oh, Tom Noonan also played Lenny in Of Mice and Men.
Yes.
Oh, I need to.
He actually played a lot of roles where you wouldn't see his face, so like that the Frankenstein monster, that you were just talking about. He did a lot of heavy makeup type work. Other actors that we've talked about, what was his name, Doug Jones and Ron Perlman, a lot of roles where you just don't see their face, which is kind of unfortunate, but it also says a great deal about their acting ability to act through all of those prosthetic appliances.
Yeah, some of them, I mean, because all they're really doing in some cases is just emoting with their eyes.
So much with their eyes. Yeah, exactly.
He was terrifying in Manhunter, though. Remember Manhunter?
Yeah. Oh yes, yes.
Yeah.
That was the best interpretation of the villain character, the story. But yeah,
I know there was the Brett Ratner remake too, but Heat movie gunfight scene is used as a study guide for boundary movers moving in front. I need to watch it, Jesse. Yeah, I'm going to get to it one of these days. Oh, look, it said he was on the X-Files as a child killer who possibly had ties to Mulder's sister Samantha. The episode called Paper Hearts and written by future Breaking Bad god Vince Gilligan was aided greatly by Noonan's unsettling performance. Is that the one where they finally explain what happened to his sister? I don't know. And let's see what else. He was in The House of the Devil, I remember, by filmmaker Ty West. I remember that. He was the mysterious gentleman wanting to hire a babysitter last minute for his. They think as a kid, but it turns out it's an elderly person in the house. I'm not going to get in more in that movie. It's creepy. He's creepy in it too, but he played creepy guys real well. I'm sure he wasn't creepy in real life, but he. I don't know. You know what he said about RoboCop 2, though? I was watching the making of about that movie, and he said he was expecting to be in a suit like Peter Weller, and I'll be duking it out with Peter Weller in scenes, and then, you're just going to do a CGI visage of me in that monstrosity. Yeah. Oh, well. Because it was like... I mean, he has a good fight scene when he's in the truck with RoboCop, where he's trying to ram RoboCop into the sides of buildings and stuff. It's kind of neat. I think he even drives through an open bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, but big fan of Tom Noonan. Rest in peace. Some gaming passaways of people who I have to be a little ashamed that I didn't think I should know who these people are by name, but I know
this is the unfortunate and also partly why it's so important to do these in remembrances, because sometimes somebody who contributed significantly to something you enjoyed and received a lot of fun and playtime from passes, and you should know about it.
Yeah. So this was excuse me, I don't butcher his name. Shutaro Lida, age 52. Too many people in Japan die young. I don't know what's going on over there. The video game industry is mourning another city event loss. Shutaro Iida passed away on February 10th at the age of 52 after a long battle with cancer. His death is a major loss for game fans, particularly those who have followed the Castlevania series for decades. During his time,
a thing or two about the Castlevania
I do, and I bought all of these games when they came out. During his time at Konami, he had played an important role in shaping Castlevania portable era. Yeah, Castlevania was going through a weird patch where people who wanted to play Castlevania as like a 2D side-scrolling like exploration game, like Symphony of the Night, they weren't going to really be making those on a modern big console, but they decided we'll make them on the portable systems. So they made them for the Game Boy Advance and the Nintendo DS, and they're very impressive. And you can buy them now if you're interested. Anyone in the chat or here, if you want to play them, there is the Castlevania Advance Collection and the Castlevania Dominus Collection, which is really DS Collection, but they did a clever spin, Dominus.
Yeah.
It sounds Latin, so I don't know. Anyway, but as a programmer, he continued to be several of the franchise's most acclaimed entries in Game Boy Advance and Nintendo DS, helping refine the systems and gameplay that many fans consider the series' great peak. One of his notable works is Castlevania Area of Sorrow, praised for its story and soul system that introduced new gameplay ideas. He also worked on Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow. You get the play on title, Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow for the Nintendo DS. Get it? Dawn of Sorrow. It's a little... Castlevania Portrait of Ruin and Castlevania Order of Ecclesia, all now regarded as modern classics. It's interesting, Castlevania Portrait of Ruin has you fighting these two evil twin vampire sisters, which I believe is a nod to the movie Twins of Evil.
Interesting.
Yeah. And Aria of Sorrow was interesting because you play as Soma Cruz, because when Dracula is finally defeated at the Millennium, we never got that game, but Julius Belmont in the year 2000 was finally able to kill Dracula once and for all. and his soul, he can't be, because Dracula always comes back in the Castlevania games. He gets resurrected in 100 years by evil worshippers, things like that. But in this one, they managed to do it so that Dracula could not come back. But what they didn't foresee was that Dracula's soul would then be reincarnated into the body of a young Japanese boy named Soma Cruz, okay, or a boy living in Japan. And the weird thing about Soma Cruz is Soma Cruz has some of Dracula's abilities where he can control like all these fantastical undead creatures, right? But he's not evil. But if something goes wrong, he could be turned evil and become the new full-on Dracula. Do you understand? So
I do, yeah.
In the first game, it was Dracula worshippers that were trying to turn him evil. In the second game, I think it was people who were more like on the side of good, but they said they didn't like the fact that there was no longer Dracula, because without evil, what's good becomes muddled in the world. So they were actually trying to bring Dracula back for other reasons and trying to turn him for other reasons. So it was this weird little thing. But rest in peace. He made some great games, and sad to hear that any video game programmer passes away. And he was a classic, and I hate this. I didn't know him. I knew the main producer at the time, Igurushi, who is now doing his own series called Bloodstained. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if he was working on Bloodstained recently. Yeah. After leaving Konami, he reunited Koji Igarashi to form Artplay. At the studio, he contributed as director of Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, a spiritual successor to Castlevania that found success. And he was probably working on the one they're working on now, but I guess he's no longer with us. Rest in peace, and sorry he died. Yeah. Another big name in the gaming industry, probably someone whose name I hate to say this, I'm more familiar with Nintendo stalwarts rather than the Sega stalwarts, but Hideki Sato, 77, a visionary Sega hardware designer. Hideki Sato has passed away at age 77. According to his biography at Movie Games, he started his career at Sega in the early 1970s, working on arcade titles, and came to lead the research and development department in the early 1990s. Sato had a major role in shaping nearly all of Sega's home consoles, and he served as company president in the early 2000s before his eventual departure in 2008. He even earned the nickname the father of Sega hardware. Sega's X account says, we are deeply saddened to learn of the passing of Hideki Sato, who served as president of Sega from 2001 to 2003. Sega would like to offer its condolences to families and friends. This guy made everything. He made I think he made the Master System. I think he was behind the Sega Genesis, also known as the Mega Drive, in other parts of the world. He also had executive producer on different games, including Sonic CD, Sonic Adventure, Burning Rangers, and the Game Boy Advance version of Choo Choo Rocket. So rest in peace.
Yeah.
We're losing the greats.
Losing all the talent.
We're losing the talent, and this guy was a talent. I mean, he was involved with every one of those Sega consoles, starting from 8-bit and going to 3D era.
Wow.
Now we got to bring it back to gaming news. Smash JT was talking about this last week. I'm presenting Troy his take on this, which wasn't good, and I thought I'd bring it up really quick too. Sony patent could dramatically downside PS5 and PS6 games, addressing high SSD prices. Now, hearing this, you're thinking that's great. Someone's forward thinking. But maybe not. Despite advancements, cloud gaming still has a downside compared to playing titles locally. What downside would that be? You're playing it on the cloud? You don't own the game? And you have to rely on the internet to play it.
Yeah, to them it's a downside. That's right.
A Sony patent balances both approaches, leading to smaller PS5 and PS6 game installations. Executables will run on a console, minimizing latency and the need for storage upgrades. Tech4Gamers found the document with a publication dated February 4th, 2026. Although the patent has a similar goal to a July 2025 filing, it outlines a different method for downsizing PS5, potentially PlayStation 6 games. The concept would involve downloading only critical assets or a launcher for a title. Code would run on a console and other devices rather than on a server, significantly reducing latency. So this means part of your game is on the console and part of it's on the cloud. Is that right? Is that what I'm getting from this?
Yes. And as much as possible is on the cloud is what they're basically getting.
And probably to deal with the fact that memory sizes are becoming ever and ever more expensive due to the AI race that we're currently experiencing.
It's almost like, technologically speaking, it's almost like we're going back to the days before we had such memory. When we talk about the old consoles like Atari 2600, Nintendo, and so on and so forth, so many bits, right? And they would get very creative and clever to be able to do more with less. I guess they're trying to arguably do the same thing now.
So let me explain what was going on during the days of the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1, when consoles were CD-ROM and DVD-ROM based. The idea is that the console would read the DVD-ROM, and if you need to save your game, you could buy a memory card, and you would save your game on the memory card. But the bulk of the information was on the disc itself.
Right.
When Blu-ray technology became a thing and they started putting games on Blu-rays, it turned out that you couldn't play the game well or even off of a Blu-ray. The game would then have to be taken from the Blu-ray and installed or partially installed on the console because the Blu-ray itself, it couldn't read it fast enough, I guess, for the gameplay.
Right.
Do you understand?
Right.
So it was this weird thing, whereas, yes, you're technically buying a physical game, but it has to download in order for you to play it.
Right.
But it would download from the disc, not from the internet. So you still owned it. It was just,
right.
it was already on the disc. And now I don't know where they go from here, because I don't think they can go back to using just regular DVDs. And the problem is everything's prohibitively expensive because of the memory thing. Because I was even thinking they'd come out with some kind of hard media, like a cartridge again. But then that would still need memory on the cartridge to house the game, right?
Right.
Especially these advanced games that exist now that are too flipping.
Well, and here's the other thing too. People are forgetting that it's not just the processing that the basic processing, but there's also the graphics processing. All of that is impacted by chips like that too. So the more complicated you make the graphics, we've gotten kind of when we talk about these nostalgia type games, we talk about, how, you had so many bits and how, they implied details that weren't there. How Mario, when he first started out, kind of, I guess, if you think about it, he kind of looked like an overweight Italian guy with coveralls. But when you look at it pixel by pixel, it's like, is that really what you're seeing? I'm not really sure,
They gave him the hat because they couldn't animate the hair. He didn't originally have a cap. And they did that because of the hair issues. And another funny thing about Nintendo, I don't know if the other game companies were like this, but like even with the Nintendo 64, people didn't realize that, yeah, the Nintendo 64 was powerful, but a lot of the stuff you needed to play those games and play them well was actually on the cartridge itself, not necessarily with the console, unlike, say, its competition, the PlayStation 2, where you would just put the disc in there and it would run it off the disc. And here, or the PlayStation 1, I should say. Jessicardo's angry at all the companies for buying all the key components instead of having their own manufacturing lines for the parts. I don't know what to tell you. From what I hear, unfortunately, I don't think that this RAM that they're making for these data centers can be reconverted into gaming hardware stuff.
Right.
I think it's specifically made for these data centers. So I don't know what to say. These are the times we're living in. Probably what would be best if they were to maybe move back to some sort of optical media that could read off of the disc. But I don't know if we're there anymore. And they're probably going to try this cloud thing. But you'd have to be connected online to play the game, though, right?
And you would run into the same kind of problem, right? Remember when you said reading off the disc took too long, so you'd have to copy to the hard drive? Now you have the same problem because it takes longer to download something off the internet than it is off of a disc or something resident on your hard drive.
Well, it's not even just that, though, but it's not even that. Maybe you have the option to download these parts off the internet, but from what I'm hearing, it's going to be on the cloud. So
because they're also trying to keep you from actually physically owning it. That's the same. They're complicating the technological problem even more by their greed problem.
Well, I'm trying to give Sony the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I shouldn't be. That maybe
shouldn't be.
I'm thinking that maybe they think that this is the solution to the data crisis, but They were all against they made fun of Microsoft when they were going to have it be where like you couldn't share your physical games. Like it was this big complicated process where you had to connect to the internet to play the physical game you bought and other thing. And then the president of Sony said, "How do you do game lending on the PlayStation 4?" And he said, "Hey, you want to borrow a game?" And he just hands him the disc. And it was a burn against Microsoft Xbox, which was smart. And then Microsoft relented and said, "Okay, knock off the DRM. We have to be connected online to play a physical game because it's making us look bad." I think that guy got fired, got canned, who came up with that. Speaking of not Sony but Nintendo, Nintendo wants to get your kids while they're young. Did you like this? I think I only picked this article. My Mario reveals Nintendo's plans to start them young. While we, the gaming world, often give Nintendo a ton of criticism, and rightfully so, they know their audience. Their latest announcement looks to expand that audience, and quite frankly, it's pure genius. Nintendo has revealed the My Mario line of products aimed at small children and toddlers, which is now available at both Nintendo New York and San Francisco stores, as well as select retailers. My Mario products deliver a variety of products meant to introduce children of the world to Mario long before they pick up their first controllers. Offerings include a Mario-themed building block set, various board books, stop-motion animation shorts, and a simple smartphone and Switch app that will keep the kids occupied for hours. No, this isn't meant for you and me. Speak for yourself, article writer. I'm kidding. I'm just joking. Anyway, this is meant for the next generation of gamers. Well, that's the problem. I hate to say this. There was this British lady doing a review of the latest Donkey Kong game. And she's making all these arguments like, why is Pauline a toddler on Donkey Kong's back? That's not the story. She's the one that gets kidnapped by Donkey Kong. Mario has to jump over the barrel. And then she realized, oh, wait. This game wasn't made for me, was it? If I've been aged out of this, like she had this weird realization, and I felt bad, and I'm like, yeah, we all get there, don't we? We are not the audience. Anyway, I don't know. I'm not going to spend much time on this. I just thought I liked the headline. Get them while they're young, but or just make affordable consoles so I don't have to play with building blocks. I'm sorry. Okay, moving on.
Okay, you got a point there.
Big disaster of the week. Phil Spencer is out. He looks haggard here, so I picked this picture.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have a good picture with the article. So Phil Spencer retiring. Sarah Bond is out. Matt Booty promoted as Microsoft AI exec. Asha Sharma named new Xbox boss. Okay, Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer has been at Microsoft since he joined them as an intern in 1988, and with Xbox since the software giant launched its first console in 2001 is retiring. Sources familiar with the matter are not authorized to speak publicly, confirmed to IGN. Spencer's retirement is effective on Monday, February 23rd. Meanwhile, Xbox President Sarah Bond, long thought by many both inside and outside Microsoft to be Spencer's heir apparent, has resigned. I kept thinking she was going to be not the fall guy, I guess the fall girl. But she's out of there too. The new CEO of Microsoft Gaming will be Asha Sharma, currently the president of Microsoft's Core AI product. Finally, Xbox Game Studios head Matt Booty is being promoted to Chief Content Officer and will work closely with Sharma. This is reminding me of Disney, how they put two people in charge of Lucasfilm now instead of one person, right?
I'm wondering if there is a greater synchronicity in these strategies. I'm wondering if they're trying to address something, and I'm not quite sure what. I'm still working this through in my mind, but
okay,
we'll see how it works out.
Phil was big on Game Pass, I believe, and I think he was big on the Activision acquisition, which cost a lot of money to get Activision Blizzard. They bought that out, and I think the returns on it aren't what they thought it was going to be. That could be partly the reason why he's out of there. I do not have much faith in his replacements, and I'm going to get into that in a minute. And Xbox, in my opinion, is a zombie console that's kept alive because it's owned by Microsoft, because I don't think if this was another company, they'd be out of the market already. I want to thank Phil for his extraordinary leadership and partnership. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella said in an email sent to Microsoft, over 38 years at Microsoft, including 12 years leading gaming, Phil helped transform what we do and how we do it. Now, keep in mind, I guess he resigned or retired, right? We're supposed to believe that, right?
Sure.
Today marks the exciting new chapter of Microsoft Gaming as Asha Sharma steps into the role of CEO, and I want to be the first to welcome her to this incredible team. Working with her over the past several months has given me tremendous confidence. She brings genuine curiosity, clarity, and a deep commitment to understanding players, creators, and decisions that shape our future. Blah, 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 blah. I don't like the current head of Microsoft, but that's just me. Okay, let's move on. Wow, this article goes on forever. Okay. Sorry, I should. There we go. Oh, and the gaming CEO Asha Sharma. We're gonna get into her in a minute. Hold on. Sorry about this. I should have cut this crap out. Okay. Why some Xbox fans are worried about the new Microsoft CEO. And late Friday, Microsoft announced an enormous shakeup of its gaming division. Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer would retire, and his deputy Xbox president Sarah Bond would resign, with little explanation given for that. The new Microsoft Gaming CEO is Asha Sharma, a 36-year-old Microsoft executive, but once gamers learned about her last role, concern began to mount immediately. Sharma is transforming from her previous position as president of Microsoft's Core AI product, and she has only been with the company since 2024. Before that, she was a vice president at Meta, COO of Instacart, and currently a board member of Home Depot. The problem here to many is obvious. She is a relatively new hire with no experience managing anything related to video games. This is to say she doesn't play games. In one interview, she talked about her appreciation for Firewatch, for instance. A good game. Firewatch.
I don't know that one at all.
Hold on. Look that one up. I'll look it up in a minute. I think I know what that is, and if that's what I think it is, that's not good. But in an era when Xbox has launched the trust of many players and is desperate need of rebuilding, a new leader with no game management experience and coming directly from an AI position within Microsoft is unsettling. Even if she's saying all the right things, however, you may have to read between the lines. In an interview with Variety, Sharma says she has no tolerance for bad AI. In her introductory message, she said, "We will not chase short-term efficiency or flood our ecosystem with soulless AI slop. Games are and will always be art."
If I can interject for
Yes.
just a second, I looked up Firewatch. Very first news article that comes up. 10 years later, Firewatch's critique of masculinity is just a different shade of toxicity.
This is a horrible. This is for lack of a better term. This isn't a JW game. I know what it is.
This appointment. This chick is basically just like the one that they put in charge of Cracker Barrel.
You know what? Yeah, basically. I mean, we'll know for sure, and I'm sure Smash Day TV will be keeping a close eye on her. This is bad. This is bad, and of course, the person writing this article is probably one of the woke game journalists that loved games like Firewatch. Firewatch looked terrible. It's what we used to call a walking sim.
Oh gosh, yeah.
You know, in Fallout you can walk, but you can do interesting things while walking. In this game,
you do a lot of walking, yes. But you're constantly having random encounters, jump scare encounters.
Holy cow! Does Microsoft own Bethesda? That means they own Fallout, don't they?
Probably.
You're playing probably one of the Fallout games before Microsoft bought them out. Other messages here from Sharma and the others was a bit strange. In her note, she talks about refocusing on core Xbox gamers, starting with the console. Microsoft has done everything possible to tell people for years that they do not need consoles to play Xbox games available through cloud and even on PlayStation. That or its recent exclusivity policies. Yeah, none of this makes sense. It sounds like someone being stuck in there that's out of their depth. I'm going to be kind in saying that.
Fair enough.
This is not good. Does anyone here own an Xbox in the chat? Say yes.
Maybe they don't want to admit it.
I own an Xbox One X, and I'm basically sunsetting that console now. It's not the latest model. The new models are the series, and I'm like, I like the X. The sad thing is, the Xbox is always a brand that I've always wanted to love, except that they keep figuring out ways to screw it up. Because I think I love the Xbox controller. I think it's almost a perfect game controller. I love its shape. It uses regular batteries. It's just no. You don't own an Xbox. You probably got a PlayStation because nobody buys Xbox except me. Oh, Geek Flag with Nate knows owns an Xbox. Well, you have a new leader if you that's the new Cortana from the last Halo game because they didn't want her to be sexy anymore. Just So they made her quirky instead. Okay. Not a working one, says deleted scenes. Oh well. They do break down, don't they? The Xboxes. You excited for?
Almost like that they're planned to have them break down. I'm not saying anything about that.
I mean, planned obsolescence.
Planned obsolescence. Yeah, it seems like they break down just as the new one is coming out. What a surprise!
Well, here's. Don't get me started on the Xbox 360's Red Ring of Death. I was between getting a Nintendo Wii or an Xbox 360 because I'm like, well, they're both doing the old school game thing. Xbox had Xbox Live Arcade, Nintendo had the Virtual Console, and I was like, okay. And then I go over a friend's house, and he's like, oh, this is the fourth Xbox I've gone through. Wow, that must be unusual that there's that. But then I find out, no, everybody's getting these Red Rings of Death, and instead of Microsoft correcting the problem, they figured, well, we'll just pay for replacements. It's actually going to be cheaper than trying to correct the problem of everything shipped. So,
wow.
But they were the number one for a while during that generation. Anyway, speaking of numbers, number 5. You like that segue?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Xbox beginning to play a little loud. I never upgraded. Take it to the local repair shop. Does it? Yeah, maybe take it to a repair shop. Toy Story 5. We excited?
I wouldn't say excited, but I haven't seen anything that has actively upset me about it. So
yeah, the premise was sort of interesting. That's why I threw it up here. 7 years after I still have not seen Toy Story 4. I guess I was one of these people that thought Toy Story 3 is kind of like the perfect ending. Why did we need to get another movie?
Right.
But this one, Woody, Buzz Lightyear, and the rest of the gang return Toy Story 5, the next chapter in Pixar's longest-running franchise. Pixar released official trailer on Thursday. The film tees up a familiar question: what's a toy's purpose when childhood is increasingly dominated by screens? So that's interesting. In the trailer, Woody, now balding and wearing a poncho, and Buzz reunite to save Bonnie from her new lily pad smart dad. In the trailer, you know what it is? You know, like you always have action figures with painted hair, and then over time that paint might chip off.
Yes.
That's going on with Woody in this. You understand in the back.
I love that idea. I never thought of it as balding, but it does kind of feel like that. Yes.
One of the other, I think the dinosaur was saying someone needs a brown marker or something,
Exactly.
But but apparently the villain this time around is called Lilypad, which I want to say is that a take on Leapfrog?
Could be.
The voice cast VeryNice for the 5th installment with Tom Hanks and Tim Allen returning as well. We got Tim Allen back as Buzz, which is good.
That's a step in the right direction.
Didn't like the Pixar veteran Andrew Stanton serves as director and screenwriter. He has described the film less as a traditional good versus evil showdown and more as an existential reckoning for toys facing obsolescence. Rather than positioning technology simply as an antagonist, the film aims to explore how digital devices have reshaped childhood and what that inevitable shift will mean.
I actually think that's a very timely, topical, idea for a story. And this is one of the things that I was referring to earlier when I said, the kid we don't have comic books here, kids. It's all about real imagination, real play, real, keeping alive that sense of childhood imagination. That's basically the same story playing out here. I suppose that what I'm basically getting at is the electronic devices being, analogous to the nothing of the
the Toy Story world.
Yeah,
because who needs that when you can go and just be on your tablet all the time? Which I've
let me just keep hitting the button and getting the dopamine hit.
And it's weird because I didn't grow up with an iPad, neither did you. I had a speak and spell and a speak and read.
I had one of those, yeah. Well, I had the speak and spell, yeah.
Yeah, I had the more advanced speak and read with the actual screen on it, which was basically like a Texas Instruments calculator. In fact, if correct me if I'm wrong, I think speak and read was made by Texas Instruments.
Yes, it was.
Yes, and you could buy these cartridges for it, which would give you reading games, and there was also Speak and Math. I didn't have Speak and Math. I remember liking the Speak and Read a lot, but it didn't so mesmerize me that I would neglect the toys. Do you understand? I would play it for a bit, then go back over to the toys.
The idea there being, it was, at least from the parents' point of view, well, they're having fun, but they're learning, so if you're going to play with something like that. And I think that's reasonable.
And then, of course, there was the Atari computer, which I'm like, what? I have to put this big floppy disk in there and type in commands? I don't know how to do this. Yeah, or if I'm lucky, I'll put one of those cassette tapes in there and wait like 2 hours for the thing to load on the screen.
Well,
I had a game called Preppy, and I liked Preppy, and I would have played it more, but it took forever to load that thing up. It was basically Frogger. It was a Frogger knockoff, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Except I guess you played a guy that looked like a preppy. I guess I don't know. It was Flappy's iPad.
He was trying to get across the road to work with a coffee in his hand.
Funny. Maybe that's what it was. Shiba Dog. Thank you, Lady Miss.
Oh, thank you so much, Lady Miss. You got your farty fox letter.
Yay! I love the farty fox.
There you go.
Well, it's better than other things that. Never mind. Let's not get into detail.
Well, yes, that could be coming out of its body.
Yes. Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano will end MMA retirement and fight each other on Netflix. What the blazes?
Yeah, again, we usually do a lot of talking about sports, but this one definitely bleeds into
entertainment
culture. Yeah,
because Ronda Rousey's been in movies too. Yeah, Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano will end their lengthy retirements from mixed martial arts to fight each other on May 16th at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood, California. The two pioneering fighters announced their returns Tuesday for a bout that will be staged by Most Valuable Promotions, the combat sports promotion established by influencer turned boxer Jake Paul and his business partner Nakisa Bidarian. The show will be broadcast on Netflix. The 39-year-old Rousey hasn't fought since 2016, while the 43-year-old Carano's 8-bout MMA career ended in 2009. They'll fight at 145 pounds for five-minute rounds. Despite their lengthy absence, Rousey and Carano remain two of their most iconic fighters in MMA history. For their trailblazing careers, Carano led their once outlawed sport into the mainstream broadcast television, while Rousey secured the enthusiastic acceptance of women's MMA by Dana White in the UFC. Rousey, hold on. I'm so sorry, I lost my spot. I don't know though. I hope it's a friendly match.
Oh yeah.
Let's have some good sportsmanship here. No out for blood. Hold on, let me get past Toy Story. There we go. I'm so sorry. Okay, there we go.
No worries.
All right, and
I like deleted scenes respect. Yay. I guess.
I don't know how to feel about this. If it helps out Gina Carano's career, I'm all for it because she got really hit.
Absolutely.
And brings her back into the public eye. Maybe this will be a good second win for her. And I have nothing against Ronda Rousey either, so I wish them both the best in this. Been waiting long to announce that me and Gina Carano are going to throw down in the biggest super fight women's combat sports history. Rousey said, "This is for all MMA fans, past, present, and future." It sounds friendly, so that's good. And may the best woman win. That's what I have to say to that. All right?
Yep.
Okay. So there we go. And at least it's two women fighting, right? Just saying. I did want to bring up Iron Lung this week because it's being talked about a lot. I think deleted scenes, as often said, be the competition, right?
Yep.
And this is from Sam Gassaway. He's the photo editor. He's the one whose picture's on the thumbnail, by the way.
Right.
I originally thought it was the movie maker myself too, but let me see. This past week, I went to see Iron Lung in theaters, new independent sci-fi horror movie from popular YouTube Mark Plyer. The film was made on a $3 million budget and was directed, written, produced, and edited and led by Mark Plyer without any studio support. With the overwhelmingly positive response on social media and the record-breaking opening weekend that Iron Lung had, I couldn't help but wonder if this was a lightning in a bottle situation or the beginning of a new cinematic trend. What could the success of Iron Lung mean for the future of film? To put simply, I think Hollywood and the film industry as a whole should take away three main points from the success of Iron Lung, and I've ranked them based on how likely I how likely I can see it would be for them to be implemented. The rise of single location, lower budgeted films. One of the most creative things Iron Lund did was telling an engaging story in a single location, most of the time with a single actor. In the film, Mark Plyer plays a convict who is forced to explore an ocean of blood alone on a distant moon. The entire film takes place in the submarine, and only glimpse of the outside world we see through a series of low quality photographs. While the limited budget meant they were limited in how they could tell this story, I think this works in the film's favor. The claustrophobic, rustic submarine adds a level of dread and terror by playing into the fear of being trapped. It wouldn't have been nearly as effective if viewers could see the outside world. The concept of a single location film feature is by no means new. One of the most critically acclaimed films of all time, 12 Angry Men, takes place entirely in real time in a single room. I saw that movie. Much like how the Blair Witch Project inspired the surplus of found footage films in the 2000s, I believe Iron Lund will inspire a series of low-budget, single-location films from studios and indie filmmakers alike. Maybe. I mean, think about plays. Many plays you watch, some of them can take place in single locations, right?
True.
Like an apartment building. Still need to see Iron Lung. Yeah, I've heard good things. I've not seen it myself yet, though. Apparently, the studios are not happy with this movie. Which I don't know why. They didn't used to be this hostile to independent movies in the past, but more creative driven projects. This film would not be nearly as successful without Marc Plyer at the center of it. I'm by no means a fan of his content on YouTube or Twitch, but it's been clear throughout the creation of this film that he has a true passion for filmmaking and the source material behind it. I don't know anything about him or his channel, so I can't speak to that myself either, but I give him points for making this on such a low budget, and apparently it's a hit.
Absolutely.
So Marc Plyer was directly responsible for selling this movie to audience members by talking about his passion behind the production directly to his viewers on YouTube, videos, and live streams. He brought in viewers who wouldn't have seen the movie otherwise. Okay.
Yeah.
It helps if you talk to your audience, though. And direct deals with movie theaters. This is, I think, is important. One unique aspect of the distribution of Iron Lung was that there was no studio behind it throughout the entire process, even distribution. Instead, Marc Plyer's team distributed the film directly, and it's been shown in over 4,000 theaters worldwide. So they basically skipped the middleman, which was the studio, right?
Mm-hmm.
As it becomes more difficult for theaters to stay open, I believe the relationship between theaters and the films they show will change. In a world where large studios are sending more of their smaller films straight to streaming, I think more indie studios will make direct distribution deals with movie theaters. You know what the sad thing is? I guess we don't really have people in Hollywood right now. We don't have indie wings of companies anymore, and we used to. Say what you like about a certain man whose name began with Harvey. He was a big proponent and supporter of independent movies, and I think he did spur on other studios to do the same. I remember Fox used to have a brand of their films called Fox Searchlight Pictures, which was where they would put their smaller budget indie films, and they would get theatrical runs, and it'd be something you'd watch during the winter. Would get some critical acclaim when you go out and see it. But I
wanted to comment on something you just said that I thought it just kind of stood out to me. You said he wanted to cut out the middleman, being the studio, which I find incredibly ironic because the studios have been trying to cut out the middleman, being the cinema.
Yep.
With all of their streaming. So I'm like, good. There is always an option, and it's always the young upstart, independents, so to speak.
Well, what used to happen back in the day is your young upstart independent starts out as young upstart independent, and then he'll eventually get hired by a Hollywood studio later on as an auteur director. I think of Sam Raimi with him making his Evil Dead movie on a shoestring budget, will eventually become the director of Spider-Man. And it's you work your way up. It's how you work your way up, and I think that got kind of lost as movies became far more producer driven.
Yeah.
And the directors started taking less of the limelight away. But but all the studios gobbled up the smaller ones. Well, we may need new studios then. And who knows? Maybe we'll see more movies from Marc Plyer, maybe other people out there. I think maybe now is the time
we
for
need
indies.
Studios in a completely different way, though. We need smaller studios that don't exert so much influence, but that can help independent films get made. That's what we really need more of.
We used to have it.
Yep.
like I said, Miramax. I'm sorry, whatever I feel
I
about
loved
Friday Night.
Mirror. Some
They
great
brought out some
movies came out of it.
Sling Blade came from Miramax.
Yep.
And you had other studios do it too. There, like I said, a lot of these companies had their independent branches where they would say, "Okay, go out and find the smaller films for award seasons," because these movies would make their money back because they were lower budgeted. They'd get released in theaters. People would buy them on DVD or rent them, and it was a way to make money. It wasn't the big blockbuster, but it would make money. And some movies really broke out, like the Blair Witch Project. I mean, going back to one of my favorite independent movies, ever hear of Night of the Living Dead back in the day? That was an independent production. Indies have been with us for a while, and I feel like they got shut out maybe during the 2010s, I don't know, by just the big studios, and everything has to be the next big $100 million blockbuster.
When big studios get too big, which is another reason why it's so important, this whole discussion we're having about Warner Brothers, but that's another ball of wax.
Well, now Warner Brothers will be no more very soon. I don't care who buys it. As soon as it's sold, it's no longer studio. 20th Century Fox is no longer studio.
There are actually three options here. One is Netflix, one is Paramount, the other is they're not allowed to, and they got to remain.
Well, maybe they shouldn't be allowed to. Maybe it's
I would like that to be the case.
Government just finally says no. And you know what? If you have to sell off some of your properties, maybe sell off Harry Potter, maybe sell off DC.
Here's the problem with the government aspect, though. As long as you have a pay-to-play Justice Department, don't look to the government for your resolution on this.
We'll see how this all plays out. Yeah. I just don't know. And is this our last article of the night? Or maybe close to it, maybe not. But Michael Jai White, I think it is. Big fan of him. Warns America is not making men anymore. And originally I thought, this is just going to be a bash the whatever younger generation article, but it's actually not. He actually has some good points to make. He's a wonderful actor. He was in the original Spawn movie. He was in The Dark Knight. Remember, he's the one that said enough with the clown when the Joker shows up. He was in one of my favorite comedies of all time, which was Black Dynamite. And he was talking to Joe Rogan recently, so this was interesting. Actor and martial artist Michael Jai White believes American boys are too soft these days. That's another thing that's said about the United States. We're not making men anymore, White told Joe Rogan on Rogan's podcast Wednesday while discussing the rites of passage for men in countries like Australia and New Zealand. Not a lot of them, Rogan agreed. When they stand out. White claimed that non-Americans are often cast in movies now to play the American alpha male. It's very rarely an American. It's such a trip, man. Rogan agreed that over the last couple of decades, American masculinity has been demonized. White said he's seen the beginning of that trend when he was a school teacher. I was right at the forefront because I guess he was a school teacher before going into acting. Seeing like everybody else gets a trophy, the 58-year-old said of participating awards. These kids, it's about their self-esteem and you got to protect that. I'm like, come on. And, taking away competition, I saw the beginning of that. Because of that, he said, kids don't know how to deal with losing anymore. And then they end up shooting a classroom. Rogan agreed that losing is the best medicine. The Dark Knight actor who holds black belts in several different disciplines told Rogan he became an athlete on his high school track team in a fluke race where he beat one of the fastest runners at the school. He experienced in track later taught him how to evolve in martial arts because nowhere is there a benefit like cutting off fractions of seconds in movement like track. I'm sorry, you were going to say something. I should have talked over you.
No, I was just going to say, just keep in mind, folks, that this is all planned. What I refer to as neo-Marxism, which is how do you overturn a government? How do you destroy the institutions from the inside? Being pushed by governments outside the United States that have a desire to see the United States fail. Really great way is to push a vilification of the masculine, because when you no longer have masculine, well, you become an easy target, and this is exactly what they want. And it started more than a generation ago with the third wave feminism and this whole concept of toxic masculinity, and actually getting people to believe that, I'm terrible because I want to be a masculine man, and that's bad, and that's wrong, and that's somehow toxic, and that's fine, in a first world kind of situation where everything is kind of given to you and you don't have to fight for anything, and that really opens you up to these kumbaya, pie in the sky, fanciful socialist concepts. Until you start to find out the reality behind it, and now suddenly you find yourself a slave to a foreign country.
Yeah,
so.
And we don't want that to happen. And don't say it already has. Anyway, sorry.
Well, it is happening if we don't stop it. Yeah.
But no, I think he brings up a great point. He's a brilliant. He's a black belt martial artist, right? But in Black Dynamite, of course, uses kung fu like in the old black exploitation movies, but he's doing fake looking kung fu in this movie, but he himself is a skilled martial artist. It's brilliant. It's like, yes.
And I think I understand how this works. So let me, for the leftist neo-Marxists, you better respect what this man says, because, he is an oppressed minority. And, if you say anything against what he's saying, then you're racist. Right, that's how this works, right?
No, unfortunately, how this works, as I've seen in certain protests, is that they start yelling racial expletives at people who are just trying to do their job.
Right, they're going to claim he's a race traitor.
Well, they
or
were
whatever.
Some nasty language words that I thought they supposedly thought were abhorrent. So I'm just Michael J. White is an excellent speaker and advocate for true masculinity. Yes, I agree. And
absolutely true. Yes,
check him out. And it's really weird when you look at The Dark Knight. That movie's like a who's who of actors, just in them, even small parts. Everyone is like dialing it up to 10 in that movie. But
and a real quick general comment to the chat. I think we should probably be bringing this up more often, Boomer. A reminder to everybody that we are simulcasting on 3 different channels right now. Well, I mean, 4 if you take into account, 5 if you take into account X and Rumble, but nobody's watching. Yeah. Nobody's watching us on X and Rumble. Netter, Boomer, and myself are all currently multi-streaming. So depending on where you're at, you might not be seeing the chat for on the other channels. So sorry about that, but
feel free to hop over to one of the other
all
channels.
The comments.
Yeah, we see everything.
Yeah, we're keeping an eye on you people. No.
You know what's interesting? I remember somebody did an essay about Charlie Brown. I think it was the movie, the first Charlie Brown movie, right? Where he gets into the National Spelling Bee and loses because he can't spell the word beagle.
Which is ironic because
which is the word he should know how to spell. And go ahead.
You're a good man, Charlie Brown. Was that it?
I think that's what it was. It might have been that.
Okay.
And the person doing the review of it goes, he's saying that Charlie Brown is about failure and how it's okay to feel bad when you failed. Okay.
Yeah.
These are normal emotions to have. Whereas I feel like these emotions of losing are not trying to be stifled. Oh, everyone's a winner. And then what is that replaced with? You don't get the highs then. So now you just feel numb. You don't feel like a winner or a loser. You're this weird.
Or you do kind of start to spiral towards depression. You say with your mouth, "I'm good enough. I'm, you should love me for who I am. My personal whatever." And the reality is, you're dying more and more and more inside because you don't really feel that.
Yeah, and the thing is, maybe you failed at running, but maybe you would be a great swimmer.
Not to mention, you're really lying to yourself. For all the people that want to, believe the science. Okay, fine, but you want to ignore reality. Healthy at any weight. No, that's not how it works. You're overweight. You are going to die young of a heart attack or some other diabetes or something else. But by all means, if you want to eat yourself to death, keep giving yourself these fake affirmations.
Yeah, I think they were saying that you're not hearing that as much lately because of the whole drugs now people use to lose the weight.
Yup.
course, they might have their own consequences, but I guess we'll
No,
find
they
out.
won't. They're protected by the pay to play deep state.
There we go. YouTube was down.
Yeah, and a lot of us were wondering about this. So I was live streaming during.
So was I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were simulcasting.
Was this Friday? Was this Friday?
I thought it was on Sparkwood 21 during the Twin Peaks.
That's right. It was during Sparkwood 21, right? So it was during the you and me and Netter and deleted scenes. And although we were going out and people were able to see us, you wouldn't see us if you didn't see us in your feed, because you weren't able to see your YouTube main page. If you just went to your YouTube main page, you saw nothing, but you could see your notifications, which is why it's so important to have your notifications set. And also why I always tag my members in the description so that you get a little, you were mentioned in this stream, because my members are mentioned in the closing credits of every stream.
There you go. And this was the article, though. YouTube went down for thousands of users worldwide yesterday in a rare global outage that has also affected YouTube TV. The problems first started around 7:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's about right. When the huge spike in reports on Down Detector showcased over 280,000 reports in the United States and over 30,000 in the United Kingdom. These issues lasted around 90 minutes before the reports started to drop. Google later confirmed that it was an issue with our recommendation system, prevented videos from appearing across services on YouTube, including the homepage, the YouTube app, YouTube Music, and YouTube Kids. The site and homepage are now working for the vast majority of users, but you can find out exactly what went wrong in this live blog. You can see the thing in there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. I think that was a little shocking. Don't they realize that this? I don't know.
I hope somebody got a serious slap on the wrist over there at Google. You know.
Yeah.
Someone did something wrong. Let's be clear about that. Sashi, in reference to what I had just said a second ago, said, "I'm used to others keeping an eye on me. My government does it all the time." Oh, your government has nothing on the U.S. government. It's gotten really, really bad over here. People don't even realize how much of their freedom has been completely lost. Welcome, Joe's Atmosphere. We're winding it down, but we are always appreciative to see you here, my friends.
Yeah. So, and I guess that about wraps it up for tonight.
It does.
A lot of in remembrances tonight, but
unfortunately, yeah.
It's sad. Tom Noonan too. Like I said, he can be a bit of a creeper in movies.
Yeah.
But
he played some villains. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody, we don't have a reserved seats to forward you to, but members of Deleted Scenes channel might want to get over to his channel in a little bit for a members stream. Go check that out. Double check, your notifications. You should know about all of that. But if you are watching on my channel, I will be forwarding you to Doctor Who, which is in a couple hours, so you're going to be fairly early, but you can go hit that notification bell when you get over there. Tonight over on Last Call Presents Doctor Who, we are doing the second part, episodes 3 and 4 of the Doctor Who series, Marco Polo, reconstructed because all of the original media is lost media. So,
how are you liking William Hartnell so far?
I love William Hartnell. He was the first, and I share a birthday with him, so I have a very special place in my heart for William Hartnell. These reconstructed episodes, which are effectively just slideshows from telesnaps with the original audio, very, very challenging. So I'm asking people to stick with me, because we want to be completists about this, but we'll come out on the other end, and we'll be getting to a lot more classic Doctor Who that you remember and love.
Yes. And then keep an eye on us for the week. What do you have going on tomorrow if you want to roll through that real quick?
So tomorrow night, again, members, you guys have voted because of the topic that we covered on last call. We were talking AI again and its intrusion and impact on our lives. I put up 4 movies that I have not seen on the topic of AI, and the members chose Ex Machina.
Oh.
So we will be watching that movie Monday night at 9 Central, 10 Eastern. If you're not a member, you can become a member on my channel for as little as $2 a month. Would greatly appreciate it, and you can join us for that.
I believe Oscar Isaac's in that, correct?
Oscar Isaac is the, I guess, mad scientist.
So I guess he's playing Frankenstein again.
Kinda, yeah. Good point.
And the robot is what is it? Alicia or Vector? The actress who's married to Michael Fassbender. I know.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know her, but
so,
yeah.
She was in the last Jason Bourne movie that came out.
Okay.
But yeah, and like I said, you'll be able to catch me on Sparkwood and 21 this Tuesday. So yeah.
Yep, we're going to be doing a deep dive on the pilot episode, which we watched last week. There's a lot to be said about it. We couldn't cover it in just the hour and a half that we had, so we'll cover that again.
So be sure to tune in Tuesday for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And as always, tune into our channels throughout the week, Netter's Networks, Thursday Things, and of course, Last Call on Friday. Tune into that.
Oh yeah, this Friday is going to be a big one. We're talking about a jolly green, well, not so jolly green giant, a giant green guy that you don't want to make angry. We're going to be talking the Incredible Hulk.
Okay, cool. All right. Any last words, Netter?
Well, I just want to say again how much I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you all for the gifties that you guys gave, as well as the super chats. You guys are totally Osmo. We love you guys so much. So thank you again for that. Thank you for supporting us and encouraging us. It's been a fun night.
Yep.
Great. And
don't forget that over on Deleted Scenes channel right after this, it's a members only stream. So if you are a Deleted Scenes member, make sure you work your way over there.
Yep.
And okay. So I guess this wraps it up. Any last words, Troy? I guess we'll just wrap it up.
Nope. I want to thank everybody so much. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe to everyone who's involved in this show. All the links are below, but especially make sure that you are subscribed to Aged Boomer. He is criminally undersubbed, and you should be supporting him.
Thank you. All right, y'all have a great night. We'll see you next week.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.